Ever come home after a long day, ready to greet your dog, but instead of joy, they're trembling, avoiding your gaze, and maybe even destroying something? You've been comforting them, right? But why are they acting like this? It turns out the real culprit might be in those last few moments before you leave the house. Don't worry, I've got answers, and they might surprise you. By the end of this video, you'll learn exactly what's happening when you leave your dog alone, and what you can do about it. Picture this, you're heading out the door and what do? You crouch down, give your dog a long pet, and say in your most comforting voice, "I'll be back soon, buddy." You think, "I'm doing a great job comforting my pup." But here's the truth, your sweet, emotional goodbye might be causing more harm than good. Sounds crazy, right? But here's why. Dogs don't speak our language. They don't hear, "I'll be back soon." They hear the tone of your voice, feel the tension in your body, and brace yourself, they feel your anxiety. When you leave in a state of heightened emotion, your dog feels it. And guess what? They start associating that emotional goodbye with something scary. They don't know you're coming back in a few hours. They just feel the tension, and suddenly the door closing feels like they're being abandoned. Dogs think, "Oh no, not again." So, what's the solution? Instead of that drawn-out goodbye, keep it short, calm, and neutral. Just say bye, and walk out the door. You're leaving them with a sense of security, not dread. But here's the kicker, it's not just the goodbye that makes your dog anxious. The reunion can do just as much damage. Alright, you've left, and now you're back. You walk through the door and boom, your dog is jumping all over you, wagging their tail like they haven't seen you in years. And guess what? You love it. It's the reunion of the century, right? But here's the thing. That over-the-top excitement actually causes your dog more anxiety. Why? Because they start seeing your comings and goings as an emotional roller coaster. One minute you're leaving with an emotional goodbye, and the next minute you're coming home like you just won the lottery. Here's the twist. What feels heartwarming to us can be overwhelming for our dogs. It builds the anticipation and excitement before you leave. And guess what? It does the exact same thing when you come back. Your dog is now anxious about when you'll leave again, and when you'll return. So what can you do instead? When you return, keep it calm. Don't rush in and start showering them with affection. A simple hello, followed by a few minutes of calm interaction will make a world of difference. Trust me, your dog will appreciate the peace. But we're not done yet. Here's something most people don't even think about when they leave the house. Think about it, when you leave you probably turn off the TV, lock the door and head out, right? Everything goes quiet. The house is silent. But did you know that silence isn't soothing for your dog? Nope. It's actually the opposite. To your dog, silence feels like abandonment. Imagine being a pack animal. Your whole life revolves around noise, movement, and the presence of others. When everything goes silent, your dog feels isolated, like they've been left alone in the wild. Instead, leave a little bit of background noise, maybe a TV on low volume, some soothing music, or even a familiar scent, like your cologne on a towel. It helps your dog feel like they're not completely alone. Even something as simple as this can work wonders to reduce their anxiety. Learning something new? Tap subscribe and keep going. So now that we've tackled emotional farewells and the power of sound, let's talk about something that might seem harmless but could be hurting your dog's emotional well-being. Here's a big one. Have you ever scolded your dog right before leaving? Maybe they chewed up a shoe or knocked something over and you yell at them as you're heading out the door. Sound familiar? The problem is, dogs don't understand the concept of later. They only understand the present moment, so when you scold them right before you leave, your dog thinks, "Wait, am I being punished for something?" That negative energy becomes the last thing they feel before you go, and it sticks with them all day. Not exactly the confidence boost your dog needs. So here's the trick. Don't scold your dog right before leaving. Instead, calmly redirect any behavior and avoid negative energy. Create a positive part of your departure routine, like giving them a treat or a puzzle toy they only get when you leave. This helps to change the association from punishment to reward. Now that you know how to handle departures emotionally, there's one more thing that could be creating stress for your dog. We all know that dogs thrive on routine. But here's the catch. If your dog's daily departure routine is too predictable, it can actually heighten their anxiety. Think about it. They start to expect that exact same sequence every day. And when that predictability is linked to you leaving, panic mode. Every time they see you put on your shoes or grab your keys, they know what's coming and they don't like it. That routine builds anticipation, and not the good kind. So what can you do to change this? Shake things up a little. Try altering your routine. Sometimes leave from a different door, or use a different method of saying goodbye. Introduce some unpredictability to keep their mind off the stress of departure. This will prevent your dog from constantly anticipating your exit, making them feel more at ease. Of course, even with routine changes, there's the bigger issue of the emotional buildup over time. Let's dive into that. It's easy to think that your dog's anxiety is just a one-off thing, but here's the thing, anxiety builds up. Every time you leave and come back, if you're not addressing their emotional state, you're adding another layer to their stress. Over time, that glass fills up and eventually, it overflows. You'll notice behaviors like chewing, barking, or even withdrawal. It's not about one stressful day, it's about the constant buildup. Start addressing the signs of anxiety early. Look out for signs like panting, licking, or pacing. When you notice these, adjust your routine and start calming techniques right away to avoid that overwhelming overflow of anxiety. Alright, so now we figured out how to help with anxiety, let's talk about something that can make a world of difference: pre-departure rituals. Before you go, you might be thinking, what can I do in those last few minutes? Well, instead of an emotional goodbye, why not create a special ritual for your dog to look forward to, like giving them a stuffed Kong or a favorite toy only when you leave. This will immediately change their emotional association with you leaving from fear to excitement. Now they'll start looking forward to your departures because they know they're getting something special. The key here is to make your departure a reward, not a sad goodbye. A calm and engaging ritual will make your dog feel more secure, and more importantly, it'll shift their mindset from worry to anticipation. So now we've got routines, rituals, and calming techniques. But how do we really make sure this works long-term? Let's talk about strengthening trust. Trust doesn't happen overnight. After every stressful departure and reunion, you need to rebuild that bond. But how? By being consistent, calm, and engaged with your dog during your time at home. Spend quality, relaxed moments together where they can feel secure in your presence. This emotional stability will help break the cycle of anxiety over time. Focus on building that emotional security with positive, calm interactions, and trust will grow. Now that we've gone over building trust and security, let's wrap it up by knowing when to act and spot the signs your dog is stressed. Alright, here's the deal. You might not even realize your dog is stressed because they hide it so well. But trust me, there are signs. Things like excessive licking, destructive behavior, or even withdrawal can signal anxiety. Some dogs won't bark or whine, they'll just lie there resigned. You have to know what to look for and act quickly before things get worse. Stay vigilant for signs of stress. The earlier you spot it, the sooner you can help your dog feel more at ease. Look for subtle changes in behavior and take action with calming rituals to ease their anxiety. By recognizing these signs early, you can step in and provide the comfort and security they need. With just a few small changes, you can completely transform your dog's emotional experience every time you leave the house. No more guilt trips, no more anxiety, just calm, happy departures, and reunions. What's your dog's behavior like when you leave? Do they show signs of stress? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're curious about whether your dog is lonely, check out our next video, 10 Signs Your Dog is Lonely. It might be more important than you think.